morning I want to talk about my sadness for workers. Not the pedophiles, not the predators, not the evildoers, but the real sweet, tender, kind, however misguided workers who started young and now they're older. So I'm just going to ramble this morning. I wrote some things down and I'm going to just kind of read it. And I hope I don't sound sarcastic. I hope I don't sound cruel. I hope I don't sound cryptic or cynical. But I hope I sound real. I hope I sound like someone saying something real out loud that nobody says. Here goes. Workers are also called ministers or servants. It seems like an oxymoron, a severe dichotomy, or a gross misnomer to name them either of those things. How do they work, minister, or serve? That is the million-dollar question. Do they ever feed the hungry, take muffins to a shut-in, care for the sick and dying, visit prisons or hospitals? Do they help with the children without grooming the parents and children because they are pedophiles and predators? Do they fix a flat tire for a single mom or change the oil for an old man? Do they care? Do they serve? In 2x2 culture, the workers don't work or contribute to society. The ministers don't minister and the servants don't serve. Maybe way back in the beginning, which they don't acknowledge. They didn't depend on the friends for cars, money, lodging, and food. Way back when, they didn't depend on the government for medical, dental, eye, hospital, or retirement. The early workers would turn over in their graves because some of them really suffered from going out in faith. When was the last time a worker looked with wonder and unconditional love at a divorced person, an alcoholic, a homeless drug addict, or a prisoner, or someone in a care facility, and then felt moved to help them with love as an action verb? Have workers become so entrapped by the friends enabling them to sacrifice and give up everything, supposedly, that their identity becomes a false self? Have workers become so dependent upon praise and adulation and worship that they forget the one who should be worshiped and praised and adored? That identity comes at such a great cost, and not the one that's spoken of, a different one. They don't have any children, no grandchildren. They have isolation, nervous breakdowns, mental illness, and addictions. It is a life devoid of friendships, hobbies, passions, dreams, careers, and creativity. There's no fire on the hearth, no curling up in slippers and reading until your eyes close from contentment. There's no cat in your lap or dog at your feet. There are no adventures to go on. None of life's work that is sometimes a pleasure, like chopping wood, decorating for Christmas, friends gathering at your table for a delicious meal, vacuuming, dishes, cleaning toilets, changing sheets, feeding animals, buying groceries, chores and chores and chores. Some of those chores make memories for everyone. And you willingly do those chores. Workers can't make memories with family, attend family weddings, births, or funerals. That, my friend, is a travesty and a tragedy of a huge magnitude. Everyone thinks workers are celibate. This is a gross and erroneous misnomer. They are merely single, sadly single. A few might be truly celibate and single, but I think it's rare. It's not the norm. If you are a worker reading this, are you terrified of people realizing you are not celibate? How sad never to know a committed covenantal relationship for life. How sad not to have a 50th or 60th wedding anniversary. Some workers are polyamorous with a new partner every year. Some are gay, some are heterosexual. Monogamy would be impossible year to year, as they have a new companion and a new field of friends. And for pedophiles and predators, they have a new field to glean from. Vulnerable people, vulnerable children. I used to benignly think that workers were on permanent paid vacation with no insurance, no mortgage, no birth pangs, no divorce, no car payments or trouble, no hated or loved job, etc. Now I see it as more malignant, and the system is malignant and narcissistic. Workers are parasites and leech the system and willing friends who happily enable them and pander to them and fawn over them whilst groveling. The friends are less and less willing to invite them to stay these days, so they have homes where they have little studios or apartments and are welcomed at all times, provided with a car and food and money. No requirements, no contribution. As time goes on, fewer and fewer young people are going to offer for this life of unnecessary sacrifice and a way of life that God never required and is completely unacceptable. May I remind you that God would never call someone to preach a gospel that is not good news, but very bad news. It wasn't the one God, the I am, the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. It wasn't that God who called you. Trust me. This aberrant system of belief will soon die out, leaving a trail of broken bones and broken lives, especially workers who not only leave the work, but are brave enough to leave the system. Where do they go? How do they begin again? How do they start fresh? I think they need help. But the good news is I know someone who is in the business of healing broken lives. His name is Jesus. He can't wait for you to realize you are his best beloved. Run into his arms. Broken beauty is best.